Psalms chapter 84 and verse 10. For a day in thy courts is better than 1,000. So 1 day in the kingdom of heaven is better than 1,000 of your best days on this side, man. Let me repeat that again. One single day in the kingdom of heaven is better than 1,000 of your best days on this side, man. Okay? Where things were better for you. Moments that you can reminisce on and say, yeah, that was a good day. The kingdom of heaven blows it out the park, man. It blows it out the water. Just 1 day. Not to mention, the Heavenly Father, He's going to stretch out the time. He's going to expand the time so you can enjoy your immortality. You can enjoy your life. And the Lord said in Wisdom of Solomon, He created the Israelite man to be an image of His own eternity, man. We're going to be a likeness of His own eternity, man. We're going to be many most highs, man. We're going to be many most highs. Okay? God's on earth under Yahweh Shemiah Shah. And also what's going to make us gods? These laws, statutes, and commandments, and us judging by the laws, statutes, and commandments, but also these laws being in our inward parts, making us those perfect judges. Not to mention, we experience these different reincarnations in this wicked flesh, so we know how to judge the flesh. We know how to judge this body because we've been in this body many times. Okay? But once again, the kingdom of heaven is going to be patterned after the mind of Yahweh Shemiah Shah, man. A righteous paradigm.
After this manner, therefore, pray ye. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakatash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being a great example to us younger brothers. And peace and blessing salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, pushing to get up out of here, man. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners, whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. You know, and what we finna go into, man, you know. All right, the hot topic, you know, that's being spoken of is what, man? All right, is Russia, man. You know, Gog and Magog, the Medes, you know, according to prophecy, man, and they're doing exactly, you know, what there was prophesied to do. You see, because Russia is going to be at the forefront of this great war. All right. That's going to end all wars, and this is the Third World War. You see, and Russia is playing this part. You know, so let's get some precepts before I even get to the videos. You know, we're gonna go in, man. All right, we're gonna get some understanding of what's going on, this conflict, because all of it is tied together. When you look at, you know, these conflicts that Russia and America has had throughout the earth, all of it's going to tie, you know, in, you know, to prophecy, man. All right, so let's go from there. Let's get I'm gonna open up the blue letter. Let me stop sharing that, and let's get into it. And just to show how, you know, accurate you know these prophecies is, man. You know, like the brother said, some very exciting times, man. You know, I woke up this morning with a little, little bounce. Just listen to news about Russia. Cause hey, it's war's inevitable, man. Russia gonna have to fight. They ain't got no choice. When you understand what's going on, Russia gotta fight. Ain't no other choice, man. They gotta come forward. Just as the scriptures say they would. Now, let's share the Bible. So let's get it. All right. So Revelation 11 and 14, and it says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right. So we're in the time where this third world's war is happening quickly, man. Yahweh Shem Shai has his mind made up to push these nations, into a war. All right. To push these nations, all right, to fight. Now, let's go from there. It's a war. It's a very warlike energy in the earth, man, as the scriptures say. And we're just gonna run through some precepts in the spirit, and then we're gonna build up, dealing with the Russians, man. And the part they play as far as prophecy, man. All right. Now you go to Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. It says a time for everything. And it says, to everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, all right, which is on earth. And it says, verse 8, a time to love, a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. And we're in war, all right, the spiritual war, all right, the third world's war is prophesied, like I said, the spiritual war between, all right, the left-hand side, Esau, Edom, the elites, all right, Satanists, and then you have, all right, the men of Yahweh on the right-hand side. There's a spiritual war going on. This censorship and, taking down pages and, just all these enchantments that's going out. That's spiritual warfare that's being waged. When we do these lessons, and expose this man and come in the name of Yahweh by Shema Shai in truth and sincerity, we're waging spiritual war on this place, man. And it's going to lead to the most destructive, all right, physical war that has ever been fought, and the Russians play a major part in it, all right. So when you go into it, let's get Revelations, because Russia would always play a major part in the downfall of this society. Now, when you go to Revelation 13 and 2, it says, and the beast, all right, which I saw was likened unto a leopard. Now, when you go into a leopard, what does that mean? What is that speaking of? The Greeks. Because this was the first Edomite empire, all right, to have dominion in the earth under Alexander, all right, was the Greeks. He was the first one to pretty much establish an Edomite hegemony in the earth, all right, under Alexander, the son of Philip. All right. And when you get there, let's get there real quick. Let's get First Maccabees. All right. You go to First Maccabees 1. All right, and 1. It says, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten Darius, the king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. All right. So the first Edomite empire, all right, that had that much authority in the earth, was established under Alexander. And it says, it made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth, and went through the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, wherefore he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. And when we see Esau in the same energy now, especially these Americans, man, so that leopard going back to Alexander, in that Greek empire, you know. So that's his beginning, but then it talks about his end, and his end were as the feet of a bear, and that's speaking of Russia, you know, because the end of something is what? Your feet. All right. Because when Jacob was born, Jacob and Esau were born, what did we hold fast to? Esau's feet, which is symbolic of the end of a man, the end of his empire. And Russia plays a major part in that. And that's why we see Russia, all right, being the topic as we get closer to the end. As we see these restrictions and mandates heightened in America, you know, Esau being more draconian with his agenda, guess what we're seeing? Russia being more aggressive, man. You see? And Russia's being the Most High is forcing Russia to be aggressive, man. See, one thing about the will of Yahweh by Shema Shai, it can't be resisted. He gonna force you into it, man. You know, just like Jonah. Jonah couldn't resist prophesying, man. No matter all the things he tried to do to avoid it, he had to play his part, man. And Russia has to play their part, man. All right. And it says, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth is the mouth of a lion. And then going back to London, all right, pretty much the headquarters of the elites, because they're the mouthpiece, you know, of this beast. You know, it's their laws and legislations and their decrees that are going forth throughout this beast system. All right. And the dragon, which is the ancient Roman Empire, gave him his power and his seat and great authority, because they have all the authority of the ancient Roman Empire, man, and influence, you know. So starting from Alexander, all right, the Greeks, and ending with what? These Russians waging war on this beast system, man. You know, this is what we're seeing. So even when you go to, let's get this in Revelation, and we're seeing this thing play out exactly to the T. Now, when you go here, all right, it says Satan freed and doomed, and Esau Edom, all right, is the physical counterpart of Satan, all right, in the earth, man. You know, he's the physical counterpart of Satan in the earth, man. So this was Esau unchained, all right, and it will lead to his doom. You know, but who will play a major part in their doom? Let's read it. It's Revelation 27. It says, and when the 1,000 years are expired, and that is when what they call the dark ages, you know, when pretty much our people, you know, was ruling, you know, in Europe, you know, as the czars in Russia. You know, that's why you have, you know, those Russian icons, because there was our people, you know, following that what they call Orthodox Christianity, which they believed in, you know, having a beard. They believed in, you know, man being the head. You know, they had pretty much more ancient traditions amongst the Christianity that they worship in Russia. That's why you have those Russian icons. But those that time during what they call the Dark Ages, you know, when you go into people like Ivan the Terrible, you know, when you hear about these people, them was Jakes, man. All right, and Tsar is just the Russian way of saying Caesar, you know, because those Russian czars had married into the Byzantine Empire, which was started by Constantine that Jake. You see, but Esau during this time period, he wasn't allowed to be in rulership. He wasn't allowed to have rulership in the earth. He was bound. You see, but then he got loose during what you call the Renaissance period or the rebirth. You know, it says, and when they, it says, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. And see, he was loosed. You know, they started taking down the strongholds of Jake. You know, they took down, you know, the Ottoman Turks. You know, those Edomites. You know, they took down, all right, Constantinople. You know, which was a stronghold of Jake. And then eventually you had those Spaniards, those Edomites took down what, man? Granada, you know, Queen Isabella, all right, King Ferdinand, you know, they took down Granada, and that's where you get the Spaniards from, you know, because Jake was in Spain, all right, the Moors was in Spain. But see, when they took that down, you know, the Most High started allowing them to start taking down Jake's strongholds and pretty much, come back into power because it was prophesied. So Esau was loosed, all right, out of their prison, all right. But what would it lead to? Verse 8, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, going back to Russia. So he was loose for a season, and he went forth deceiving the four quarters of the earth because he has a lot of people in gross darkness. You know, you got Moabites calling themselves Chinese, Ammonites calling themselves Japanese. That's deception, man. You know, he got us calling ourselves African Americans, man, after two Edomites. You know, a whole, the narrative that he pushed through Christianity is false. His history, his science, it's just nothing but layers of deception, man. He has people believing that they believe in the Bible, but really they're Satanists, man. And the deception goes on and on and on, but he was prophesied to be loose and deceive the earth as he has done. But what would it lead to? Gog and Magog to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is the sand of the sea. All right, because you have 150,000 Russian troops on the border of Ukraine as we speak, but then you only have 8,000 American troops in Germany, man, because America is spread too thin. All right, and Russia is deep as hell over there, man. That's a huge country, man. All right, so this man's rulership will begin, all right, with the Greeks, but it was in with the Russians, man. The Most High had this when the scriptures say, matter of fact, let's get it. Let's get that too. And then also this timeline goes from the Renaissance, all right, to Gog and Magog, which is the Russians, man. So all these different precepts, is telling you the same thing, that Russia will be the end of this man's empire, and then Yahweh Shai come to deal with Russia and whoever else left over, man. All right. So let's get that in Daniel. All right, let's get that in Daniel real quick. All right. Daniel, the 5th chapter. Matter of fact, I'll read down. All right, this is Daniel 5:17. Now he's going to interpret the writing on the wall for Belshazzar. All right, who's a Babylonian king. All right, who is extremely proud. Just like America, they're in the peak of their pride. This is Daniel 5:17. Said, then Daniel answered and said before the king, let thy gifts be to thyself, and give thy rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king and make known to him the interpretation. Because Daniel didn't even want the rewards, for interpreting, the vision. You see, it says, O thou king, the Most High God gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom and majesty and glory and honor. And for the majesty that he gave him, all people, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him, just like this American empire, man. All right, the earth trembled before this great American empire, man. This great military powerhouse, man. They can turn your country, into a pile of rocks in a week. You see, they turn, your cities in your country to a pile of rocks in a week, man. It says whom he would, he slew, and whom he would, he kept alive. Yeah, and that's how America operates, man, to this day. Just as the ancient Babylonian Empire, man. If America starts doing a war propaganda against you, you can get ready. All right, they pulling up. All right, and it says, "And whom he kept alive, and whom he would he set up, and whom he would he put down." You know, America is known for taking down regimes and installing different regimes. You know, in these countries. All right, and that's what kings would do. You know, even when you go into the Assyrians, you know, Babylonians, they would take, they would take away kings. All right, remove kings and set up, kings that they wanted in the lands that they conquered. And America is known for that as well, man. All right, and it says, but when his heart was lifted up and his mind hardened with pride, you see, he was disposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. And that's what we're about to see with America. All right. It says, and he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like the beast, and his dwelling was with the wild asses. And Esau, he was, remember, when you go to Job, the 30th chapter, all right, it talked about how Esau brayed among the bushes, and that was what they call the dark ages, man, those 1,000 years when he was in that prison. You know, it says they fed him with grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High ruled in the kingdom of men, and that he appointed over it whomsoever he will. Yeah, because he broke the will in the pride of Nebuchadnezzar. And it says, and thou his son, O Belshazzar, has not humbled thine heart, though thou knewest all this. And see, Esau knows what the Most High has done, all right, to previous empires, man. They're ruled in wickedness, man. You know, but has Esau humbled his heart? No, he's become more proud to the point where he's just, I'm gonna fight. Yeah, how about Shemal Shah? All right, verse 5:23. Daniel 5:23. It says, but has lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven. You see that anti-Messiah behavior, man. The same behavior we're seeing today. And they have brought the vessels, all right, of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords, thy wives, and thy concubines have drunk wine in them, and has praised the gods of silver and gold and brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear not, nor know, and the Most High, in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways, has thou not glorified. And Esau, Edom is guilty of the same thing, because what are the vessels that he has took out of the temple this time? He took the people, all right? And with having, us in captivity, Esau has been very prosperous in the earth, man. And Esau worship all these different gods, man, of iron, brass, gold, and silver. And because even when you go to Birmingham, they have a big statue of the Vulcan, which pretty much like the god of iron, the Roman god of iron. You brothers, you sisters can look up, the Vulcan, all right, which they have that major statue in Birmingham, man. And they got prosperous off what? The vessels of Yahweh Shemal Shah, which we're those vessels, man. You see, we've been spoiled. We're the temple that's spoiled now. All right. It says, which see not, nor hear, nor know, and the Most High, whose hand thy breath is, and who are all thy ways, hast thou not glorified. It says, then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this was the writing, and this is the writing that is written, many to call a parson. This is the interpretation of the thing, meaning the Most High have numbered thy kingdom and finished it. You see, and that's why you can get precept that says going into the leopard, which is the beginning of Esau's dominance in the earth. But then it talks about the bear being the feet, which is the end. So Esau's kingdom is already quantified. If a brother can put that definition up for me, paste that definition in the comment section. Quantified. Esau's kingdom is quantified. It's numbered. It has, a measurement. And those precepts we read in Revelation was a measurement. So you had one measurement that started from the Greeks, unto the Russians, which would be the end of this man's kingdom. All right. Then you had one measurement that started from the Renaissance, him being loose from that prison, all right, to what? Gog and Magog, which are the Russians, all right, which is the end of this man's kingdom, man. Russia's gonna be a major catalyst, in the end of this man's kingdom. So it is numbered and finished. You see? And it said, to call, thou art weighed in balances and are found wanting, because the wickedness that, all right, Esau Edom has done in the earth, and especially through America, it has not been repaid back. His wicked deeds that he's gotten away with. You see, now he has built up a tab, and see, the Most High is finna, all right, hey, he finna close that tab out, man. He's finna close that tab out with judgment and destruction, man. You see? Yep. So you see the definition for quantify this from the brother Our Lama War 144K. It says express the measure, the quantity of. So this man's kingdom, all right, has been measured out. And we at the very end of the tape. You see? We at the very end. All right. Remember you brothers used to play Mortal Kombat, and you had that bar that represented, at the top of your player how much life you had, then you get down to the end, you got one little piece of life left, and then you can't even fight no more. You just rocking back and forth, and nigga waiting to uppercut your ass and you through. You see? Well, that's how Esau Edom kingdom is, man. That little bar of his life is down to the very end now. To the point where he just wobbling, waiting on that last blow. And Russia gonna be that main nation that's gonna get that nigga that last blow. All right, finish him. All right, finish him. you know, finish that nigga, man. Um. All right, this is Daniel 5:27. Said to call, it said, thou art weighed in the balances and are found wanting. It says, Paris, all right, thy kingdom is divided, you see, and given to the Medes and the Persians. Who are the Medes? All right, the Russians, the Persians, Iran. And we finna tie all these things in the prophecy, man. We finna tie everything together, man, in the spirit, So Russia is playing this part, man. And you see Russia always popping up in prophecy, man. 3 different accounts, and Russia always pops up as a major player in the downfall, of Babylon, man, America. You see? Now, I'm gonna go from there. Let's I'm gonna queue up and get this video. Now, let's tie some things in real quick.
And it is
It's wartime, brothers. Hey, I don't know if you got the memo, man. It's wartime, man. And I want in, man. Hey, me and Beyond want in, man. All right, it's wartime, man. And hey, the house of David on deck, man. See, the Most High so beautiful. He just got the house of David, just regular men, in the earth. Ain't nobody considering us. Like, you got all these different war analysis, but they count us out, Beyond. It's good though. It's good though. Our lump, all you brothers, man. It's good, that we counted out, man. Because when they're standing lifted, we gonna, we gonna play too, we gonna get it in too, man. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna play this. So what you got going on right now, real time with Russia, is they have turned off the natural gas all right, that they supply to Germany. All right. You see, before you go to war, see, war is very strategic. All right. It ain't like nigga culture. All right, where niggas get to arguing on Facebook and then they see each other and then they just shoot it out wherever they at. I got guns, you got guns, let's shoot, nigga. That ain't how war go with kingdoms. All right, it's strategic. You have wartime propaganda, which what Esau Edom do to try to, justify himself before the earth to get more of a backing, with his agenda. And then you have sanctions. All right, you have sanctions. Um, Pretty much that try to cripple, nations' economies, what you see America does, and then you have different kingdoms, these different nations, they'll cut off, supplies, all right, to nations, for leverage, you know. So before they actually go to combat, these nations, all right, are going to try to weaken each other as much as possible. That's what. That's why when you have war, famine goes right along with war. When there's war, there's more people die from famine than actual, all right, battle. All right. You go to the Civil War. A lot of people down here in Mississippi. I was reading I listened to the documentary. I need to find it again, man. It's a real good documentary. It's like 51 minutes, but it goes into that Civil War. But a lot of men that fought in the Civil War from Mississippi died from famine. Way more died from famine than actual battle, man, because they supplies were cut off. You know, so this is nothing but war strategy, man. We're getting closer, all right, to the war. All right. Yep. Let's get this from the brother. This from the brother in his likeness, Yasha Ezekiel 7:14. It said they have blown, all right, the trumpet, even to make all ready, but none go to the battle, for my wrath is upon the multitude thereof. You see, and the war trumpet is going off, man. You know, the sounds of war is going off, man. The war sirens is going off, man. But if you're not all right in tune with the spirit, you're not gonna hear it, man. You think niggas don't even know who Putin is, man. Niggas is so oblivious to the fact of what's going on. You see, a nigga is more concerned about what game is being counseled. You know, some type of silly shit. The black youngster, rapping in front of young Dolph Headstone, some crazy shit like that's what nigga concerned is, man. So a nigga is not hearing these war trumpets, man. All right. Verse 15 said, the sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is of the city, famine and pestilence shall devour. Yeah, so if you're out there on the front line, and that's a beautiful scripture to detail, the dynamics of war. So if you're out there fighting on the front line, all right, in the trenches, you're gonna die with the sword. But if you're just a civilian in the city, all right, you gonna die of famine because supplies ain't gonna be coming in, man. And famine causes what? Diseases, which is gonna create what? More pestilence. You see? All right. So let's get this. I think the brother put it. This from the brother Gashon 72. It says, the Jeremiah 50:22 says, a sound of battle is in the land. You see, war drums is beating, man. It says in great destruction. And see, these nations have so much destructive power with their military arsenal. This is going to lead to their great destruction, man. Verse 50, Jeremiah 50, verse 23 says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Because America is going to receive the worst of the worst, all right, destruction, from this third world war. Now, I'm gonna play this, and pretty much it's just gonna confirm, that Russia has cut off the gas supply, the Germany, and then we're gonna get into those pipelines, man, and we're gonna go back into Syria, and show how these things begun. Now, let's
December the 21st, 2021. It's 11:30 here in Arizona. I want to welcome you tonight. We're going to be really short. I did cover one article tonight and some information. I just want to cover one article. Confirm some information that we broke about a couple days ago. Let me see when Hal Turner posted. Now, a lot of people, they love to rag on Hal Turner. And this article is from December 18th. This was, let's see, 2021, 3 days ago. So you might not like Hal Turner, but he has been like 98% accurate. So Hal Turner broke this story, recovered this story back about 3 days ago on the 18th of December, that Russia reduces natural gas flow to Europe over NATO. Now we can confirm that Hal Turner was right once again, because the TASS Russian news agency just put out an article a few hours ago stating that this is actually happening, folks. So all of you guys that love to rag on Hal Turner, oh, he's been in prison, you can't trust him, he's an FBI informant, he's a shill. Well, he gives pretty accurate information. And sometimes, yes, he is wrong, but most of the time he is right. That's why I use him as a source. But he is not my only source. I use a whole lot of sources from a lot of news media around the world. So let's go ahead and read you what TASS Russian news agency just put out. This is December. They actually dated it the 21st. But if you read the article, it's on the 22nd. So let me see if I can find this for you. And the camera is actually working like it should right now. We did a news update this morning, and the whole screen was fuzzy, folks. You couldn't read anything, but it's actually working good now. So this is from the TASS Russian news agency. Gas flow to Germany frozen due to Gazprom's refusal to book capacities, said the operator. Reverse deliveries in the opposite direction to Poland have not begun either. So we're going to read you this article, and this confirms everything that Hal Turner reported on 3 days ago on the 18th. Moscow, December the 21st. Well, actually, it is still the 21st, isn't it? Okay. So this is current news. The physical flow of gas through the Yamal Europe's pipeline to Germany has been halted due to Gazprom's refusal to book pumping capacities for Tuesday, according to the data of the Cascade gas transmission operator. So according to the Russian news media TASS, that all gas through the Yamal European pipeline to Germany has been halted. Pretty much they shut the gas off to Europe. And this is where most of this gas is distributed through Germany to the other European countries. So Europe is going through a bad winter season right now. So if Russia is going to invade, then they are putting pressure on NATO right now in the European countries, showing them that they're going to cut their gas completely off and they're going to freeze to death this winter if they interfere with Russia's invasion plans. That's just my opinion. So let's keep on going with the article. Reverse deliveries in the opposite direction to Poland have not begun either. So the gas to Poland through Belarus has also been cut off. The physical flow of...
So this is what we get, man. So Russia's pretty much saying, like, look, to these EU nations, they're like, look, what we finna do in Ukraine is between us and Ukraine. All right. Now you jump your ass in, your ass gonna freeze this winter. You know? Because remember, pretty much Ukraine is like the portal from Russia to the EU. All right, those EU nations. You know? And Russia is being forced, all right, to do something because America would not stop, all right, military buildup in Ukraine, man. So Russia is pretty much like, look, you know, we finna go in, all right. Now, I will advise y'all, sit y'all head down somewhere, man. You know, this ain't got nothing to do with y'all, all right. But if you intervene, your ass gonna freeze this winter, man. You know, and Russia gonna come into Europe, man. You see, it's gonna be a whole different energy, you know, coming from Russia, man. All right, because they gotta fulfill their role in prophecy as we, you know, went over before we started going into these things, man.
Gas to Germany through the Yamal Europe pipeline emerges as the difference between the revised pumping orders for the supplies forward and backwards, reverse supplies to Poland. Currently, there is no gas flow through the conduit. So, according to this article, there's no gas in the pipeline. On Monday, Gazprom repeatedly did not book capacities for the transit of natural gas through Poland via the Yamal European gas line for December the 21st. Since Friday, gas producers has been reducing the volume of reservations for gas transit through the Yamal Europe pipeline. On Friday, the company did not book capacities at a day-ahead auction, but at an intraday auction. It ordered a pumping volume of 26.8 million cubic meters against 31.4 million cubic meters in the previous day. After that, the gas giant only booked 5.2 cubic meters on Saturday, 4.2 million cubic meters on Sunday, and 3.8 million meters on Monday. And now they have shut the total supply off. There is no gas. So Hal Turner was proven right once again. In December, Gazprom preferred to book capacities for pumping gas across Yamal Europe daily. In November, the company did not pre-order additional capacities for gas transit through Poland for December. Gazprom made it clear that it could promptly book additional capacities for a shorter period, say for a week or for a 24-hour period. The Yamal Europe transnational gas pipeline stretches across the territory of 4 countries: Russia, Belarus, Poland, and Germany. The design capacity of the conduit is 32.9 billion cubic meters of gas per year. The direction of gas pumping through the pipeline depends on the request that the gas transmission operator receives from the customers. The gas flow direction may change due to higher nominations for pumping in one direction or another. If customers want to change their orders, they form what is known as renominations for gas supplies through the pipeline. So there is no way, folks, that the United States can ship enough gas to Europe for their needs, folks. That you can't ship that much gas on boats. And plus, that's going to take weeks to come from the United States all the way into Europe. There is no way that we can replace this gas. So basically, Russia is already started or did shut the gas line off. So let me take you back to this article from Hal Turner, which broke the news on the 18th. And this is the title of the article: Russia.
So what you have to understand is this is all because of America. And see, this is why all those EU nations are going to turn on America, man. You know, because America would not sit their ass down, man. You know, those EU nations be trying to tell America to chill, even with the whole Iran situation and the nuclear agreement. You know, you had EU presidents and prime ministers flying to the White House telling Trump to sit his ass down, man. You know, nigga won't stop. All right. So now these Europeans gonna be freezing while America's over here cozy. They gonna feel some type of way. You know, niggas gonna be celebrating the Super Bowl. All right. Some crazy shit. And these people freezing. You know, America, you know, New Orleans supposed to have Mardi Gras this year. All right. Nigga throwing beads and the EU nations freezing. They gonna feel some type of way, man. because it's America, all right, actions that's causing this, man. You see, as the brother put, I get this, because when I read this, I'm gonna read it from 18 and go up. All right. Now this is Brother Awalam Award 144K, and it says, and the woman, all right, and it's that scarlet. I mean, it's that woman that was riding on that beast, you know. And it says, and that woman which thou sawest is that great city, which is America, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. And see, these nations are fed up with the way that America is reigning in the earth, man, because they lose. America make moves where America wins and the rest of the earth loses. You know? So they like, look, all right, verse 17, Revelation 17 and 17, it said, for the Most High have put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. So the Most High, all right, created the NATO and the EU and all these different alliances, with America being, you know, pretty much the top dog of that alliance. You know, he created that because he knew he was going to create circumstances where they was going to fall out. You see, these nations agreed to allow the American dollar, you know, to be the world reserve currency. They agreed to these different trade agreements, and that's why America's able to put sanctions on everyone, man. You know, so they agreed to pretty much, you know, be vassals to America. All right. But it was going to be a great falling out, man. And we're watching this great fallout between these EU nations, NATO and America, man. It's Revelation 17 and 16. It says, in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. All right? Which is these EU nations, man. And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, which are nukes, man. This is why all nukes are going to be aimed at America, man, because America foreign policy only benefits America and destroys these other nations, man. All right, it just destroys these other nations, man. You know, so now you have no gas coming into Germany as of Thursday. All right, was Thursday was the 21st. You see, and then they're going into what the the brunt of winter. You know, winter started on the what, the 21st, man. And you know that's the winter solstice. So it's a lot going on, man. You see, it's a lot going on, man. And this nigga here, America won't stop. All right. So I'm gonna let a little more of it play. And then we're gonna get another well, we're gonna go into these pipelines and different things, man.
Reduces natural flow gas flows to Europe over NATO Ukraine. The lowest ever Russian gas flow metered here. So, like I said, he was right. All of you guys that hate Hal Turner, he was proven right again. I just confirmed that right now. So anyway, we're not going to read the whole article. I will leave this a link to Hal Turner's article, which broke the story. So this is the chart of all the gas that they were pumping, and you can see it just went down, and then all of a sudden it just dropped off the cliff, and now they're pumping zero. So you can see also the countries that are getting the gas is
Yeah, Salaki. I had my mute on. But let me just share this. Yeah, Salaki, I had the mute. But yeah, I just want to show y'all this. All right. So as you see, all right, these charts of natural gas, and you see how it's diminishing. All right. And these are all 10 horn nations, man. Italy, Germany, France, Netherlands, Poland, all right, Spain. These are all 10 horn nations, man. They are being affected. This is why the 10 horns are going to hate the whore. All right. That is why the 10 horns will hate the whore. You see, they're being affected by America's pride, America's decisions. You know, the EU is paying for America's pride in the earth, man. The EU's, I mean, America's decisions, Americans' pride, and the EU suffers, man. You see, the EU is suffering for America's decisions, and it's gonna get to a point like, you know, they're gonna deal with the whore, man, through missiles, man. All right, just like on on Friday. Hey, what day they told Craig? He said, I got to stay here. You don't. You know, America not feeling the effects of what they're doing over there in their region of the earth, man. And America is 3,000, 4,000 miles away from its border, all right, causing havoc. And the EU is suffering for it, man. You know? And it's gonna get to the point where they're gonna do something, man. All right. So let's hold on. The sound should be good. The sound good. We'll be back as far as the sound. I just okay, come. Yeah, I had myself muted. But yep, like the brother said, a careless woman, you know. Yep, and that's the spirit. You know, when you the brother just said a careless woman like a whore. Cause even when you think of the nigga woman to make decisions, you know, where she a benefit, but her whole household is through. You know, or the nigga woman has made decisions where she benefits, but the nation suffering. All right. She's chilling, you know, Section 8, $2,000 worth of food stamps, you know. But then the child is growing up to be a damn monster, man. You know, and that's how America is moving, man. You know, it's a good point. But so let's get, you know, to these pipelines, because, you know, a lot of these wars and conflicts that we've seen in the Middle East, you know, pretty much began because of these pipelines. All right. So these oil pipelines, pretty much it's a race to who can get the pipeline going to supply Europe with natural gas. All right. So I got a little article with a video I'm gonna play that goes into that. All right. But just show y'all this map, because y'all know y'all probably, you know, was hearing about the Nord Stream 2, you know, dealing with Russia. So when you get the Nord Stream. All right, here go the map of the Nord Stream pipeline. All right. So it comes from Russia. Let me make sure y'all can see it. All right. So you got the Nord Stream pipeline, then you got the Nord Stream 2. So the Nord Stream pipeline pretty much is pipeline pretty much runs from Russia and it runs, you know, I believe it's the Baltic Sea, and it goes to Germany and supplies Germany. And then Germany, you know, pretty much supply, you know, a lot of these other EU nations. You know, so if they cut off the natural gas to Germany, pretty much that's gonna cut off the gas supply throughout the rest of Europe. Because Germany is pretty much the entry point, all right, of these pipelines. And then this is Nord Stream 1, and then you have Nord Stream 2. And Nord Stream 2 is just going to run parallel to Nord Stream 1 to be able to pump more natural gas into Europe. You see? So these EU nations, they pretty much depend on Russia. And pretty much Russia and these EU nations have had cordial, you know, relationship. All right. But it's America that comes with the shit. You see, these nations know that, look, okay, Russia ain't trying to conquer. They not trying to, you know, be wicked. You know, they pretty much, this is their economy because Russia supplies. All right, Russia 70% of Russia's natural gas supply. All right, goes to Europe. So that's a major, you know, commodity. All right, of Russia is their natural gas, and 70% of it goes to EU. So common sense will let you know that Russia is not trying to damage their relationship with the EU because they're pretty much their cash cow. All right, because it takes money to fund the nation, man. All right, and these pipelines are a major, all right, asset to Russia. So they have cordial relationship with Europe, but it's America and the NATO that's with the shit, man. Because America doesn't want to be challenged in any type of way. All right. They want to keep all these nations weak and crippled. You see? So I got a video because remember you had that major war, well, not that war, but that conflict in Syria for a while. All right. And this guy pretty much he's gonna break down, you know, the conflict. Now, um, let me share it. Um, all right. So let's look at these two pipelines. Um, all right. So let's look at these two pipelines here. Now, what you have two pipelines. Now, America, you got one that's in the blue. This is the pipeline is backed by America. Now, it starts in Qatar, and Qatar is home of America's biggest military base on earth because it's right there on the Gulf of Suez, which is the Gulf between Iran and pretty much Saudi Arabia. So America has a major military base right here, all right, on the Gulf of Suez, which separates Iran from Saudi Arabia. And then that's where you got the Strait of Hormuz, all right, to your right. If you keep going right, it don't show it on this picture, but you got the Strait of Hormuz, which you had that conflict, you know, because Saudi Arabia, they ship a lot of oil through, all right, through the Strait of Hormuz. And you had Iran talking about shutting it down, you know. So these conflicts, you know, stem a lot off oil shipments, oil pipelines, all right, and these different things because this is the quickest way to cripple a nation is cripple, you know, its top commodity, which, you know, with Iran and Russia is their oil supply. You see? So you have the pipeline of America that's backed by America that will start in Qatar, all right, go through Saudi Arabia, all right, and come up and go through Syria. Now, you see all that major conflict that they had in Syria? Well, it was mainly about these pipelines because you have a city, Aleppo, that was one of the major places of conflict. You know, when they was dealing with that pipeline, was Aleppo. You see, you kept hearing Aleppo in the news because that pipeline that America wanted to run would run through Syria and run through Aleppo, then run through Turkey, and that's why, you know, it's a major move, you know, for Turkey not to be allied with America. Now, Turkey is a NATO country, but they side more with Iran and Russia. All right, Gog, Magog, Persia, and Gomar, Ezekiel 38. So Turkey not being an ally to America, that means that pipeline can't come through there. You see? But this is what America wanted. They wanted their pipeline to go from Qatar through Saudi Arabia, up through Syria, through Turkey, and then it will enter into what? Europe, and they will be able to supply Europe with oil. You see? But then you had this pipeline that's backed by Russia, which would come from Iran, all right, run up through the border of Iran, you know, then cut across through Iraq, through Syria, all right, through the Mediterranean, all right, and then into Europe. You see? So that conflict that we were seeing in Syria, this was the main reason, man. All right, for this conflict. All right. And you see Iraq, you know, which the guy going to explain. This is why America wanted to pretty much destabilize Iraq to cut that off. They didn't want Iran coming through there with their pipeline, you see, to supply Europe with that natural gas, which it would have been cheaper for Europe and it was a better quality of gas. And this gas coming from Qatar was going to cost more and it wasn't going to be as good of quality. It's going to be a little more polluted, you know. But America don't give a damn. They just don't want no one else having any type of leverage in the earth besides them. You see? So I'm gonna let this video play.
Hey, we talked about why we're in Syria. You ever wonder why we're in Syria? It's still because we're trying to help people.
I'm here with Robert Yesamura, Hank Thompson. We're going to talk about Syria. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he wrote an article. We covered some of it that appeared in the Politico. This is also over at Echo Watch, which is even of a longer version of that story. And there's some stuff that we left out I want to talk about. So what are we doing in Syria, right? So what America doesn't know is that the CIA, at our behest, has been toppling governments in the Mideast left and right, trying to all the time since the 40s. This is true. Iran, Syria, Jordan, Afghanistan, all of them. We've been had our fingers in. We want to control it. And Robert Kennedy says, while the compliant American press parrots the narrative that our military support for the Syrian insurgency is purely humanitarian, many Syrians see the present crisis as just another proxy war over pipelines and geopolitics. What? A pipeline? I've never once heard Rachel Maddow or Brian Williams mention a pipeline. And that's why we're in Syria. Did you ever hear that, Hank? No. You ever hear anybody mention that, a pipeline?
No, not a lot of pipeline talk on Brian
about
Williams.
What we're doing in Syria? No. How about you, Rob? You ever hear them talk about a pipeline?
I haven't heard them talk about anything in terms of Syria that explain what the hell's going on.
No, it's just that there's Assad is bad.
Assad is bad.
And ISIS cuts
is
people's
bad,
heads off.
And Russia's there. And they're
Russia's
bad.
there, and we're going to fix it.
Mosul.
So...
So pretty much, you know, they're calling out that American propaganda, you know, because that's all we heard over here in America was Assad was the Syrian president, how he was unhumane and a dictator. The same thing they did with um, Saddam, all right, Gaddafi, you know, Osama, the same thing. They paint them as just these terrorists that, you know, they got nukes that they trying to ship to America and they just terrorizing the people in their region. And, you know, but no, man, it was all going back to the pipeline, man. All right. So what well he's finna go into, all right, it even goes all the way back to 9/11. All right. And it's gonna tie into it, man. You know? Um,
And Mosul.
A lot of people think the Syrian war started in 2011 with the Arab Spring, but instead it really began in 2000. Was it Ralph Nader? No. It was when Qatar proposed to construct a $10 billion, 1,500-kilometer pipeline through Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Syria, and Turkey.
See that? So you see that? In 2000. So in 2000, Qatar proposed a $10 billion, which it wasn't Qatar. America was imposing. Qatar just a puppet. So Qatar, all right, proposed a $10 billion, all right, dollar pipeline that would run through Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Syria, and Turkey. And that was in 2000. And then the next year, what did you have? 9/11. All right. After 9/11, what did you have? The invasion of what? Iraq. All right. Which is where Iran wanted to start their pipeline and go through Iraq. You see? So they was in Iraq halting, the construction of Iran's pipeline while they was trying to construct their pipeline from Qatar. All right. And that's why when it made it up to Syria, that's where you had that conflict between Russia and America, because Russia peeped game on what America was trying to do, man. That's why Russia aided the Bashar regime in Syria. That's why you have Russian missile defense systems in Syria. All right. It was all about these pipelines, these different proxy wars, ISIS. ISIS was created to destabilize their region so America can build pipelines, man. You see? It had nothing to do with weapons of mass destruction, revenge for 9/11, which we know what that is, man. All right? So a brother can post that Mark 4:22. Brother can post that real quick, man. You know? Esau damn devil, man. All right, and he has shoved this false narrative down the throats of Americans, and they don't have a clue what's going on. They don't have a clue how wicked America has been in the earth, man. And this is why so much judgment is coming to America, man. And then ultimately, the end game is going to be so many missiles coming, man. All right, because America has been the biggest terrorist on the earth by far. By far, America has been the biggest terrorist enterprise on earth, man. To these nations, man. You see? This your brother Awalama War on 144K. This is Mark 4:22. It said, "For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested, neither was there anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad." So everything's coming abroad, man. All right. Everything's coming abroad. Everything that was in secret, everything that was hid is on the front line now, man. This man is being exposed, man. He's the devil. He's the terrorist, man. You know? He's the damn terrorist, man. And the brother can put I'm gonna let this play, but the brother can post like this in Job. All right, brother can post Job 18 and 10. Yep. Job chapter 18, verses 11. Verses 10, 11, and probably through 14. Yep. Job 18, verses 10 through 15. Yep. And we get it. But I'm gonna let some more of this play.
So now this has been going on for not just since 2000. In fact, he points out that the Bruce Lovett report, which is from the 50s, pointed out that when the CIA keeps intervening, that this is antithetical to American values and it has compromised America's international leadership and moral authority without the knowledge of the American people. So like when the CIA overthrew the Iran government, tried to overthrow the Syrian government, the people on the ground know this stuff, but we don't know it here in America. So they know that. And the report, this is a report from our own government, they report blamed the CIA for the rampant anti-Americanism that was mysteriously taking root in the many countries in the world today. So it wasn't that they hate our freedom or our liberty. This is even back in the 50s. It was rampant anti-American was because of the CIA effing with other people's governments in the Middle East, all for war, and because they were afraid of Arab nationalism, right? They saw that as fighting. We're going to fight Marxism, so we're going to fight Arab nationalism. And whenever an Arab country wanted to keep their own oil reserves for their own people, that meant we had to go stop that, right? So here's the pipeline that he's talking about, by the way. So look at this. So here's the pipeline starting at Qatar. So this is by the way, this is natural gas. Right. So Saudi Arabia and Iran, they have the largest natural gas deposit in the world. And so Qatar wants to take it through Jordan. See, we go Saudi Arabia, Jordan, through Syria, through Turkey. So they're on board. Jordan's on board. Turkey's on board. Guess who's not on board? Syria. And there's the problem. So now here's the other pipeline, comes from Iran. These are the competing pipelines, Shia, Sunni, okay? Just so you know. And Russia is against this one. They don't want this one. Russia is against it because Russia gives a lot.
Well, actually, Russia doesn't want either.
Right. But if they were going to have one, the Russians would lead. Well, let's get into it. Because Robert Kennedy says, of course, the Russians who sell 70% of their gas exports to Europe viewed the Qatar-Turkey pipeline as an existential threat. This is to your point, Robert. In Putin's view, the Qatar pipeline is a NATO plot to change the status quo, deprive Russia of its only foothold in the Middle East, strangle the Russian economy, and end Russian leverage in the European energy market.
Mm-hmm.
But they never tell you this stuff. Like, I mean, you have to seek this information out. It's out there, but you have to. They never say it so it gets into the consciousness of the American people. They don't ever do that. In 2009, Assad announced that he would refuse to sign the agreement to allow the pipeline to run through Syria to protect the interests of our Russian ally. What happened then when he tells the United States and Saudi Arabia that I'm not going to let you have your pipeline? What do you think happened? Well, at that very moment that Assad rejected the pipeline, military and intelligence planners quickly arrived at a consensus that fomenting a Sunni uprising in Syria would be a good thing. At that very moment, they decided to, hey, let's overthrow this guy. According to Cy Hirsch, before the war started, Assad was moving to liberalize the country. Yeah, so they weren't going towards theocracy or fundamentalism. Syria was actually, again, the way Iran was before we messed it up, a secular democracy, right? So he was moving that way. according to him, he said they had internet and newspapers and ATM machines, and Assad wanted to move toward the West. After 9/11, get this, Robert, Assad gave thousands of invaluable files to the CIA on jihadist radicals, who he considered a mutual enemy.
Who he still does.
Yes, he does. We consider ISIS an enemy. So does Assad, except we consider Assad an enemy too. I say bomb them both, which is what we're doing. All right, ready? On September 4th, get this, Robert. On September 4th, 2013, Secretary of State John Kerry told a congressional hearing that the Sunni kingdoms, meaning like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, had offered to foot the bill for a U.S. invasion of Syria to oust Assad.
Now, to understand what he's saying, when he's speaking of Sunni, all right, and Shiite, those are the two pretty much denominations of Islam, all right? And you have Iran, which is the Shiite or the Shiite fashion of Islam. And then you have Saudi Arabia, Qatar, all right, which is pretty much Sunni, all right? Now you have Hezbollah, that's up there above Israel. They're more the Shiite, with Iran. So you have two different fashions of Islam, in the Middle East, and that's where you see kind of a lot of conflict with them. But see, Esau Edom, he didn't divide and conquer, with the Middle East, because he didn't want those Arab nations coming together, to have their own economy, to have control over their own resources, and pretty much, because one thing about it, once you realize you don't need America, and that's America's biggest fear, is these nations realizing that they don't need America, man. So even when you go to Libya, all right, with Gaddafi, before America came in and bombed Libya to hell and back, in Libya, the people that lived in Libya, they would benefit off the oil profit of Libya. All right. When you would get married, they would give you $50,000. All right. You had free electricity. You see that? And all different type of perks. But now it's an impoverished, all right, country, man. All right. America hates any form, of independence outside of its regime, man. So they demonize and they go in, infiltrate, they justify, attacking it, and they attack it, and they set up a new government, they set up new policies, and the people suffer, man. This is a very wicked rulership, all right. America is running, man. But for the longest, they've been able to deceive the people as if they just here, for some type of moral excellence, man. Brother can post that too, because we're going to get all of them before we get out of here. I'm going to let this play, then we're going to get these precepts. But brother posted in Revelation 6, I want to say it's 4, It is a very wicked empire, man. Yeah, Revelation 6 and 4. Yeah, let's get this one too. Because this is speaking of Babylon. When you go to Babylon Award 144K, it says Isaiah 14:5. It said the Lord has broken the staff of the wicked, all right, and the scepter of the rulers, man. And this is this man's power and his rulership. And the Most High is finna break it down, man, because this man rules in utter wickedness, man. All right. The staff of the wicked, man. All right. Verse 6, it said, he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindered. Yeah, man, ain't nobody gonna try to stop America from being destroyed. No nation's gonna come to the aid of America, man. They gonna stomp America out, man. When America fall, they gonna stomp this whore out, man. They gonna stomp her ass under the earth. You see? And it says the whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing, man. When America is destroyed, man, because that's phase one, all right, of establishing righteous rulership is completely destroying America and taking it off the map. America will be removed off the map. You see? So let's get this in this Revelation 6:4. And it says, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And this is speaking of Esau, Edom. And America has been the main weapon of choice to take peace from the earth, man. And that was giving him a great sword, man, which is witchcraft and weaponry. And America, like I say, has been, the weapon of choice for these elites to take peace from the earth, man. All right. But when this man is removed, man, because America has America is the source of all these conflicts in the earth, man. All war, America is the source of wickedness. America is the source of everything when it comes to wickedness, man. The reason you argue with your woman goes back to this American empire, man. There's a lot of things that wasn't happening in the earth until America was established, man. The reason your child is talking to, is confused about what sex they supposed to be is America, man. The reason you got conflicts in the Middle East and Taiwan and China is because of America, man. All conflict, big and small, starts and ends with America, man. That's why this place will be removed from the earth, man. Hey, when you were disruptive, you brothers, hey, when you were disruptive in the classroom, what would the teacher do? You will be removed from the classroom, man, because you're stopping everyone else from learning and moving forward. And that's how America's going to be removed from the script, man. And we're watching the build up to it. Now, I'm going to let this play, then we'll get the closing precept. I'm going to let this.
This is in 2013. Kerry told a congressional hearing. I never heard this reported. Did you hear this reported? He said, in fact, some of them, this is according to Kerry, in fact, some of them had said that some of them, meaning the Arab states, the Sunni Arab states, meaning Qatar, Saudi Arabia, some of them had said that if the United States is prepared to go do the whole thing, the way we've done it previously in other places, Iraq, they'll carry the cost.
Color me not shocked.
So that's what this is all about. Oil, a pipeline. This isn't about John Kerry pretending to be upset that they're bombing hospitals or using chemical weapons. And that's why we got to go in there. It's all about oil. And Saudi Arabia using the American dollar as their oil-based price, right? And we don't have the dollar's no longer backed by gold. It's backed by Saudi Arabian oil. Yes. So Kerry reiterated to that offer that the Saudis and the Sunni Arab states had made to Representative Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, that's how you say her name, quote, with respect to the Arab countries offering to bear the cost of an American invasion to topple Assad, the answer is profoundly yes, they have. The offer is on the table. That's what Kerry told somebody. John Kerry, Secretary of State. So in 2011, the U.S. joined France, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and England to form the Friends of Syria coalition. Boy, is that Orwellian.
That's a really creepy sounding thing, man. That sounds like the worst sewing circle ever.
In 2011, we founded the Friends of Syria coalition, which formally demanded the removal of Assad. The CIA then provided $6 million to Barata, a British TV channel, to produce pieces and treating Assad, so for propaganda. Saudi intelligence documents published by WikiLeaks show that by 2012, Turkey, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia were arming, training, and funding radical jihadist Sunni fighters from Syria, Iraq, and elsewhere to overthrow Assad. So that means all of our allies in the Mideast were funding the people we claim to be fighting. ISIS, cutting people's heads off, radical Islamic jihadists. Those people, the guy who's up, those people, our friends in the Mideast are funding. So they're funding our enemies. Our friends are friends with our enemies. The idea of fomenting a Sunni Shia civil war to weaken the Syrian and Iranian regimes so as to maintain control of the region's petrochemical supplies was not a novel notion in the Pentagon lexicon. Really? This wasn't the first time they thought of it? No, in fact, a damning 2008 Pentagon funded RAND report proposed a precise blueprint for what was about to happen. The report observes that control of the Persian Gulf oil and gas deposits will remain, for the U.S., a strategic priority that will interact strongly with that of prosecuting the long war. Ugh. In 2008, they said this. The long war. The long war to overthrow the uncooperative Bashar Assad was a feasible path to achieving the shared objective of completing the Qatar-Turkey gas link. So there's more to this. We'll cover it tomorrow. There's a lot more to this. We've covered some yesterday, covering this today.
And by the way, let me just say, so I'm more moderate than you are. I'm not conspiracy minded.
Yeah, pretty much that's the point. And as you can see, all right, what this thing is about, even leading up to this very day, all right, to the point where Russia has just cut off the natural gas to Germany, man. All right. So we can see pretty much what these proxy wars in their region have been about. The whole Russian propaganda, Russia messing with the elections, and Russia is cyber attacking, and all these different things is just propaganda, man. All right. But the real skinny goes back to these gas pipelines, which gives, whatever country is able to supply Europe with natural gas pretty much has the leverage over Europe, you know? So now this is where we're at. So when you go to Job 18:10, all right, and America, like I say, has done nothing but been pure wicked in the earth, man. This is Job 18:10. It says the snare is laid for him in the ground, and a trap for him in the way. And that main snare is these missiles, man. Because America will be removed off the earth through missiles, and those missiles in those silos in the ground, that's the main trap that's laid for this man, because all his foreign policy, all right, because it's just like it pretty much, you gotta paint the picture like America is sending, ambassadors to all these different regions in the earth to pretty much cause havoc and stir uproar and to benefit America. But what's gonna happen is missiles gonna come back to America, man. That's gonna be these nations' foreign policy against America is missiles. All right. And it says verse 11, it said Job 18:11 says terror shall make him afraid on every side and shall drive him to his feet. See, now America is not in its comfort as it once was. You see, because if you're driven to your feet, that means that now you're at attention, you're at alert now. And that's what we see. That's why you have all these conflicts, all right, that America is pretty much trying to control, the way that the geopolitics is going in the earth. They're kind of control everything because they're scrambling. What we're seeing is American is scrambling, man. All right. It says his strength shall be hunger bitten and destruction shall be ready at his side. Yeah, see, the destruction is on deck, man. All right, the missiles is on deck. The missiles is in place. The military, everything is in place. All right, for this man to be destroyed, man. For this wicked American empire to be destroyed, man. NATO, EU, all this gonna be destroyed, man. You know, even Russia, man. All right. America just gonna be the focal point for a while, but then, all right, Yahweh Shai coming to deal with all of them, man. You see, that's the end game we're speaking of. Verse 13 is it shall devour the strength of his skin, even the firstborn of death. All right, shall devour his strength. Verse 14, his confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and it shall bring him to the king of terrors. And that's Yahweh Shai. You know, because America has been so confident in being able to dominate. The elites have been so confident in pretty much controlling, you know, the geopolitical, you know, theater in the earth. They're used to controlling both sides and, you know, knowing what the outcome is going to be and, you know, knowing who to, you know, side with, you know, so they can benefit after these wars. But see, it's going to come a time where they're not going to be in control, you know. They're not going to be in control. They're all right, are going to be subjugated, you know, to the judgments of Yahweh Bashim al Shah like everyone else. You see, and that's going to root out his confidence. All right. Someone that's been dominant for a long time and in control for a long time, their confidence vanish when they're in a situation where they have no control, you know, where they're suffering loss and they can't stop it, man. And we finna see that real time. All right. Job 18:15 said, it shall dwell in his tabernacle because it is none of his. Brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation. That's missiles gonna go everywhere. Now the bulk of missiles gonna go to America, but then you gonna have missiles that's gonna hit everywhere, man. Russia gonna be shooting missiles at NATO nations, EU nations. You see, they gonna be shooting missiles at Russia. Missiles gonna be getting shot at China. China gonna be shooting missiles off. It's gonna be all right. Brimstone scattered upon his habitation because why? Esau, all right. The earth has been given into the hand of the wicked. You see. So this is what we're watching. You know, build up. All right. Yep. This is let me see. Yeah, everything on deck, man. All right, now this is brother Elder Kazak Bun Yahweh 777. All right, this is Isaiah 47:1. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground." So we're watching America, all right, being demoted in the earth. You see, this is a demotion. There is no throne, yeah, their rulership. All right, their horse finna get knocked off their beast. You see, and their beast finna buck and throw their whore off of it, man. It says, "O daughter of the Chaldean, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate," man. All right, the American reign, all right, is at the end. You see, this is Jeremiah 51:24. It says, "And I will render," this from another from the brother Kazak Bun Yahweh, you know, El Kazak, you know, Shalom, Zakwan, Yahweh Shema Shabrakatah. All right. It says, "I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight," said the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. And that's another thing. This is a chief place, you know, of punishment of Israel. But America went too far, man, on how, you know, they did Israel, man, how they did the tribes, man. You know? Yep. It's gonna be a period. It's gonna be the period, the end of a sentence. You see? The missiles, man. All right. So brother can post that Habakkuk chapter 2, verses 4, you know, through 8, you know, and pretty much we'll end it there because this is what's happening, man. All right. This is from the brother Yahweh Maccabees 144, and this Jeremiah 25:31. It says, "A Noah shall come even to the ends of the earth, for the Lord have a controversy with the nations. He will plead, all right, with all flesh." All right, that means he will judge. "He will give them that are wicked to the sword," said the Lord. You see, And that main sword is gonna be nuclear destruction, man. All right, and we're at the doorsteps because I'm in this. You know, I was talking with some I was just listening. You know, they was talking. You know, the higher ups. You know, the upper management. You know, so I'm just listening to them talk to each other, and they talking about the juice, how they gotten it, and then they were talking about how they have gotten the boost mobiles, and they ready to get whatever they need to get to keep going forward. All right, pretty much them trying to save their lives, but one of them even mentioned the charagma to like now he was like, yeah, man, they want you to keep getting shots, but then they want to put a microchip in you now. He said it, you know. He said, yeah, they talking about the microchip now. These are people that have no clue of what's going on according to the narrative of the Bible. But they're speaking about the microchip. And I said, we here. This is common talk now. You know? So while this is the MOT is building up, war is building up as well. It's gonna be a domino effect. That's why scriptures say, though it tarry, it will not tarry, man. It's gonna be a quick domino effect. It's gonna be rapid. And Elder Pastor Hart always said, whenever this man pushes that MOTB, all right, things are gonna move quick. You know, things are gonna move quick, man. All right. So let's go into it. All right. There's the brother Bashan 72. This Habakkuk 2 and 4 said, behold, his soul which is lifted up, which is Esau Edom, all right, is not upright in him. All right. This man's spirit is not right. He's not meant to be straightforward. He's not meant to be honest. He's not meant to bring peace. All right. But the just shall live by faith, by his faith, and that's, the hopeful elect. Lord willing, that's us, man. And see, in these times where this man, all right, well, we have to live through a wicked, rulership, we have to live in faith, man, because we're going to lose things based on us standing for righteousness, man. So we're going to lose, and we have to live by faith, man. All right, under this wicked rulership, because he's not going to do right. We don't expect him to do right, man. We expect, all right, this place to be destroyed in a great deliverance, man, and favor from Yahweh Shema Shai. This is Habakkuk 2 and 5. It says, yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, all right, and heaping unto him all people. So this man can't keep at home, man. All right, this man is 3,000, 4,000 miles away from his borders, wreaking havoc, man, causing division and conflict in the earth, man. And Russia told him, because when Putin was talking to all his generals, Putin was pretty much like, we can't retreat back any further, man. They right here on our borders. They're doing military drills and mock drills of invasions of us right here on our borders, man. They're like, we can't retreat. Putin said, look, we can't retreat anymore, man. All right. As the brother Tazwan, you know, he he called Putin Master P at camp, man. Master P can't, hey, he ready to bring them no limit soldiers out, man. All right. They keep messing with P. All right. Now this is verse 6, Habakkuk 2 and 6. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his, how long? And him that laid himself with thick clay, which is dead. So now these nations are in talks, man. You can believe that there's a lot of councils going on, all right, about what are we going to do with America, man. She doing too much. America's getting out of hand, man. All right. And it's to the point where they openly declaring, all right, that they're against this place, man. Habakkuk 2 and 7 says, shall not they rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and the weight that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. See, now America is finna be ready to be spoiled, man. You know, because America is used to being the one spoiling, but now they finna be spoiled, man, which means they're all right, finna take loss, a lot of losses militarily, man. It says, verse 8, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee because of men's blood and for the violence of the land and for the city and all that dwell therein, man. All right. And I was reading this other, while I was listening to this other article on RT on how, you know, people don't understand when America bombs these countries, how reckless America is, man. You know, America has called, all right, America has caused a lot of civilian death with their airstrikes, man. A lot of civilian deaths, man. You know, millions of people have died due to American airstrikes that have nothing to do with the military, man. You know, hey, one of the analysts from RT America spoke about, you know, they had this thing in World War II where when America, you know, because you had America and their allies, but the allies of America, like French and Britain, they spoke on how when America would come through and do airstrikes, that even the French and the Britons would get out the way because America was just so reckless with their airstrikes, man. You know, here it is, they be looking for one man, you know, but they'll do an airstrike, man, and destroy a whole perimeter. All right. Everybody did, like we joke about how Jake be shooting the gun sideways and hit everybody except who they want. Well, America does that on a massive scale, man. On a very massive scale, America does that, man. You see? But all that's coming back to America, and that's why all the missiles are going to come here, man. It's going to be the most high, all right, I say closing out that tab for America, man. You see? Yeah. No limit tank, man. Master P. And it said this Kazakh Bun Yahweh the 777. All right, this is on Isaiah 33:1. It says, woe to thee that spoilest and thou was not spoiled. Yeah, because America has been allowed to pretty much live carefree. And that's why you got that carefree spirit in America. All right. You look at what's going on in Russia, like Ukraine, they are preparing their citizens to try to fight, you know, Russian troops if they invade. They open up all the bomb shelters. All right. You have EU, they going through a gas crisis because of the conflict between America, NATO, and Russia. But then what do you have here in America, man? A goddamn TikTok challenge. All right. The woman looking for any excuse to show off her body. You know, a nigga doing some type of new dance or something on TikTok. You see? Why? Because America has been unscathed out of all the conflict that America has done. America has gone unscathed, man. The homeland of America has gone unscathed. All right. There hasn't been one foreign missile to hit America. There has not been one airstrike from a foreign nation to hit America, man. You know? But now that's finna flip. And it says, and he that did it treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee, when thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. You see? Going down. And it says, and when thou shalt make an end, all right, to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with you. Yeah, and treacherously pretty much, you know, these nations plotting. You know, there's a lot of nations acting like they with, you know, they're with America, but when they go down, they're gonna fall back. You see, when they go down, they're gonna fall back and they're gonna flip, man. America is done, man. All right, and we right here at the war, you know, and also to put that out there so you brothers and sisters know what to look out for. They say they might do a you know, different truths I heard from about two sources so far that in Ukraine, they could be planning a fake gas attack, all right, and blaming it on Russia. You know, that there are sources that they trying to do what they did in Syria, they trying to do it in Ukraine, all right, to demonize Russia. So be lookout, you know, for a so-called chemical attack, in Ukraine. That's just what I've been hearing, circulate. All right. And yeah, pretty much, hey, that's the point, man. We here, man. All right. That bear is stepping into his role as prophecy. All right. The scriptures say he was gonna stir up the Medes, they're stirred up, and the Most High put them in a position where they got to do something, man. All right, so we here, man. Going into 2022, expect a lot of big moves. Expect a lot of major things to happen, man, and they expect to get very chaotic, man. So we in the time now where we should be more obedient than ever. More disciplined than ever, and just hasten the day. All right. So Lord will, you brothers and you few sisters were edified. Till next time I say Shalom, Kwam Yashala, Abba Ball, DTA soon.